On my screen right now, there's a video of one of our clients. We helped book over 35 meetings in just 2 weeks, which resulted in over $32,000 in revenue for them. The reason why we were able to book so many calls in such a short amount of time wasn't because we were following the latest cold email trends or by having a subject line that hypnotizes your prospects to pay you thousands of dollars. It was basically by doing cold email the right way. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything that we did for this client, everything from the offer, the sending infrastructure, the market research, the script, sequences, subsequences, automations, basically everything we did to get the results that we did. When we first onboarded this client, we saw that there was a huge gap between what they were actually offering and how they were communicating it right off the bat. Starting with onboarding, our onboarding process is pretty extensive, but very simple at the same time. We always send out a form, which takes our clients around 30 to 45 minutes to fill out. But once they've actually filled that out, we have majority of the information that we actually need to be able to provide and prepare the best way. We also provide our clients with a video going through and guiding them on how to actually fill out our onboarding form in the most effective way possible. So by having a very extensive onboarding process, but then guiding them through on how to fill it out in the most effective way, and then also having an onboarding call at the end of that, we can leverage that and become a lot more effective when we also do our market research on the actual prospect's ICP. So what our client is actually selling is 3D animated explainer videos. And when they started working with us, they did not have a clear ICP whatsoever. They basically sold it to anyone who needed one. So naturally, when we noticed this, we basically just got straight to work by looking at who their current clients are, spoke to their clients, and also asked them, why did you purchase? So that way we can actually figure out their why, what resonates with them, and then we can actually utilize that information to get the best results. But this is something that we do for all of our clients, even though they might already be very, very clear on their ICP, just because it lets us basically speed up our market research so much faster and lets us become experts within a matter of weeks. Because when we speak to their clients, we can ask them, why did you take the call initially? Why did you convert? And then we can actually start resonating with the target market even more. A prime example of this, which might seem very, very simple to you, is essentially that we spoke to one of their clients and we asked them straight out, why did you convert? And what do you resonate most with in this kind of messaging? And even there, again, we found out, okay, they don't care about revenue, they care about new clients. It's very, very simple, but it does a big difference at scale. Obviously, we're not only doing it only for one variable, but multiple ones. And during this market research, we obviously decide what channel is the best to go with. And we figured out that email was the key channel for them. So we went ahead and we acquired 15 different domains with 2 inboxes on each one, which also lets us rotate inboxes to ensure that we have maximum deliverability. So the reason why we're getting so many inboxes is also to be able to rotate them. Because even though we take all the necessary steps with DNS records and so forth, email deliverability is still the #1 thing that we need to make sure that we have, because if we can't reach out to someone, they won't even know and we can't even get any data. So that's also why, again, why we get so many inboxes, just to be on the safe side so that we can rotate them to make sure that we always have the maximum deliverability. When it comes to list scraping, we have tons of different data sources that we use, but we always have a few ones that we know works best for each industry. So for this client right here, we just use the most popular one, Apollo.io, as well as we also do waterfall enrichments on the ones that aren't found. More than that, it's hard to say because, again, like, this was such a fast campaign where we got these results, so we didn't even have time to actually test different data sources, which is something that we do in most cases. For the script, we actually went against a lot of the cold email tips and tricks that you see out there with keeping the email short, straight to the point, yada, yada, yada. Because the thing that you need to understand is that it depends a lot on where your client is actually located. What I mean by that, for example, in Sweden, you can get away with very, very generic or even long email text because that market isn't that sophisticated. So with that out of the way, the subject line was quick question. We also had one which is a specific saying in Swedish, dyker in här ur det blå. It's basically just popping in here out of the blue, basically something like that. The body copy was very simple. Hey John, popping in here a little bit out of the blue because I felt like I needed to introduce myself and the starlight animal. It's not exactly starlight, but it's a Swedish saying stjärnskott, so again, I can't really give you a proper translation of what it is, but something along those lines. I'm reaching out because we help recruitment agencies increase their monthly jobs by over 200% by using animated explainer videos. Here again, we focused a lot on the end result because, again, even though our client didn't have the most clarification on their ICP, they still had a lot of industry experience, meaning that we sat down together and we figured out, okay, if we use the animated explainer videos in X, Y, and Z way, we can increase their jobs by over 200%. Obviously, there's a lot of small nuances and conditions that need to be met to be able to actually fulfill on that, but that's the beauty. It's just a hook to get them on the call, and then we can see, okay, we're able to do X, Y, and Z for you. And the call to action was very simple. Would you be interested in getting 2 fully custom scripts completely for free to see if this could be interesting. It is a very compelling offer because again, you can get these two things for free to see if it actually is interesting. But the thing, we and our client also knew that it's a very, very hard thing to fulfill on to make custom scripts for everyone. So the thing we were doing, we were actually gatekeeping that actual offer behind the call. So to be able to actually get that offer, you had to jump on a call with our client. Then we also implemented a PS line where we explained 3 of the biggest things why they should use animated explainer videos. So the PS line was basically something like this. In today's society, you only have 30 seconds to actually make a good impression with your website. By taking your website seriously, you can 1, make your clients remember your brand. Number 2, make them more engaged. And 3, more engaged to actually convert. One very important thing that I just forgot to mention because I was reading the old scripts here is that we actually also targeted on one very big pain point. The companies that we reached out to had very, very complex services, meaning that it was very hard for my clients' prospects or potential clients to actually explain their offering in a compelling way, meaning that there was just blocks and blocks of text explaining what they were doing, and that's just no way of actually explaining what it is that you do. So they were able to explain their service in a much more compelling and engaging way, which again was just a huge pain point because my clients, potential clients, were aware that they actually had very, very hard to explain services. Because sure, the example I gave you with the recruiting, it is very straightforward, but there's a lot of small nuances that goes into it, which again can be very, very disengaging to read through a block of text on someone's website. So that was a very, very important thing that I just forgot to mention. But again, if you weren't watching this far either, you don't deserve to know anyways. The split test looked something like this. Hey John, are you able to handle more assignments at the moment? If so, we actually help recruitment agencies get more jobs strictly via their website by animated explainer videos. By using animated explainer videos, you can get up to 200% more assignments every single month. And then we also had the same call to action. So again, what we're kind of testing is what works best. Because we're already aware from clients we've worked in the past with that social norms is one of the most important things when it comes to cold email. And it is extremely, extremely important to utilize. Because the first copy, sure, it was a lot longer, not as tangible, but more straightforward than the second one where it was, can you do this? We'll help you to get this interested. Which again, just goes to show it was the same offer, but it was different social norms. So in my opinion, social norms, especially when it comes to countries that aren't as targeted, is almost as important as the offer. Obviously the offer is one of the main things. The absolute main thing in my opinion is what it is that you're actually selling if you're solving a problem. For subsequences, this was actually quite a while ago, so we weren't even using any. The only thing that we were using was out of office, meaning that whenever we got an automated reply with, hey, I'm out of office, please contact me at X, Y, and Z date, we took that specific reply, put it into out of office subsequence, and re-hit that same lead 2 weeks later. And it worked okay. We got the same results that we usually get when it comes to out of office. The out of office subsequence basically looked like this. Hey John, I tried reaching you a while back, but looks like you were out of office. I sent you an email about getting 200% more assignments every single month, and then we just had a simple call to action. Because again, what we want with that email is essentially just to drive traffic up to the first email again, because that's 100% the strongest one. In some cases, obviously it depends on what your strategy is, but I think you get the point. When it comes to inbox management, we didn't do anything fancy at all. Again, we didn't have any pre-templated replies if they wanted more info or anything like that. We just had a setter managing the inbox. And that's basically all I can say about the inbox management because it's very straightforward. One thing I'll say though is that speed to lead is absolutely crucial. The faster you can reply to someone, the more chance it is of them converting into a call. And you can probably even relate to that because at some point, maybe you got a cold email and it was interesting enough to reply to. So you replied and you wait and you wait and you wait and then you forgot about it. Then he emails you again and it's at the wrong time, or you're just not interested anymore because you were just feeling a different kind of way when you got that email or whatever. So he ends up losing you as a lead, which again goes back to speed is absolutely crucial. But anyhow, so when we actually booked in the call, we had 2 pre-call automations, one that was 24 hours before the call and then also 1 hour before the call. In the 24th hour reminder, we actually said in the reminder that it's an automatic reminder. And in the follow-up that it comes 1 hour before the call, it looked completely different. Then for the 1 hour reminder, because our client is a male and he's not that old, we essentially use that to our advantage. Meaning that the reminder looked something like this. Hey John, just confirming that I'm ready in an hour. You too? Best. That worked very well because we literally got 100% response rate on that one. And funny fact is that we also had 100% show up rate. And again, that's with zero automations when it comes to inbox management or anything like that. It was a very, very simple but straightforward cold email campaign. Or well, we did have a few automations like the reminders when someone booked in a call, and also the flow to automatically update a lead in the CRM once we booked them in. So again, it was a very, very straightforward campaign. We didn't have any like super fancy automations like we do now. Obviously our process now is, you can't even compare them. So again, if we had this exact system and these processes that we have now back then, we would have seen a lot more calls. But nevertheless, I think it was a very, very super successful campaign. So that's how we were able to book over 35 calls in just those 2 weeks alone, which resulted in them generating over $32,000 in revenue over, I think it was 2 months, because obviously the sales process is not just 2 weeks, right? But we did have to pause the campaign after those 2 weeks, hence the title. So that revenue is generated just from those 35 calls alone. It's just the sales process that takes obviously a bit longer. And you can absolutely take everything I've said in this video and implement it into your own lead generation campaigns, but chances are you're gonna run into a lot of roadblocks doing so. As you can see in some of my other videos, not this one because I didn't go into that much detail, but there's a lot of expertise and technical infrastructure needed to run cold email campaigns successfully. So if you don't want to hit all of those bottlenecks by yourself, and you run a B2B company and want us to book qualified calls for your offer, click the first link in the description to book in a call, check out our case studies and see how we can help you achieve similar results for your business. Again, click the first link in the description, book in a call, and I'll speak to you soon.